Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. My name is Andrew and welcome to our first ever family quiz from Imperial College London as part of the Great Exhibition Road Festival. Now today's quiz is going to be about science with special rounds on dinosaurs and space. But I'm not doing this quiz alone. This quiz has been made in partnership with the Natural History Museum. So I'm very excited to introduce Rosie from their learning team who will be hosting the quiz with me today.
Hello Andrew and hello everyone at home. I am so excited to be here for this dinosaur and space quiz, and a big thank you as well for inviting us from the Natural History Museum to be part of the quiz today, particularly because the museum is still closed at the moment, so it's extra special and extra nice to be able to do this online instead. So I'm sure you'll know at home, the museum, we're very famous for our amazing specimens that we have, but you might not also know we have lots of scientists busy working behind the scenes too.
Now, speaking of scientists, we're really lucky today that we're going to be joined by two scientists, one from Imperial College London and one from the Natural History Museum. So first of all, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Amakshi, who's a PhD researcher studying space here at Imperial.
Hi everyone, really nice to be here. Really looking forward to the quiz.
Thank you for joining us, Amakshi.
It's lovely to meet you, Amakshi. And I'd love to introduce as well one of our researchers from the museum and our dinosaur expert for today. Let's say a big hello to Matt.
Hello everyone, really excited to be here to talk about the two best topics in the world, dinosaurs and space. Well, one of them anyway.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well, that started very early, that rivalry there. So we have Matt and Amakshi, who are our space and dinosaur experts today, and you're both going to have your own special rounds of questions for everyone to do at home, but you're not off the hook yourselves. We thought that you really should be taking part in the quiz today too. So Amakshi, you're going to be doing the dinosaur round. How was your dinosaur knowledge?
Yeah, not great. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. And Matt, you're going to be taking part in the quiz, and particularly in the space round. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I think I might do okay.
We'll see about that.
All right.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So while this simmering rivalry brews behind the scenes, we're going to say goodbye to Matt and Amakshi just for now.
I'm excited to see how they get on later. And we're also very excited to see how you get on at home as well. So we recommend that you make a team at home. So get the adults and the children, get yourselves together and come up with a team name. So once you've decided a team name, let us know in the comments and we'll see if we can read some of them out. Now, whilst you do that, I'll go through some of the rules for the quiz today. So there'll be 3 rounds with 4 questions in each. We'll first of all have a general nature round, then Amakshi will be asking you some space questions, and then Matt will be asking you some dinosaur questions. There will be 1 point for each correct answer, but we'll also have some bonus points as we go along too. Now do talk in your teams at home about what you think the answer might be, but don't be tempted to write any answers in the chat box. And if you see someone else writing answers in the chat box, don't be tempted to copy them because they might not have the right answer.
Okay, so you're going to need a pen or pencil and definitely some paper to write and maybe even draw some of your answers. And as you know, our questions are going to test your dinosaur and your space knowledge, but also some questions you might need to get a bit creative or even use some of your scientific skills. And there are no prizes in this quiz. It's really just about taking part, having fun and learning about science.
Well, we've got some great team names coming in already. I can see we've got Team Nature-tastic taking part, Team Brainy Bunnies even, Team Mary Anning in space. I love that one. Some really great names.
I like the Mary Anning because she's going a little bit in both camps there, Mary Anning in space. That's fantastic.
I really like this one as well, the T-Rexperts from Oxford. Great name.
T-Rexperts, that is a fantastic name. Let's hope they are smarter than the average T-Rex. I'm sure they will be. I'm sure they'll be fine and probably yeah. So has everyone got their pen and paper? Although I'm not quite sure how the T-Rexperts are going to be able to write things down, but I'm sure they'll manage. And yeah, it's really great to see so many teams joining us. So do you think people are ready, Rosie?
I think we're ready.
Okay, I think we can start round number 1, and this is going to be general science. So, question number 1. This question is all about rocks. So, rocks form in lots of different ways, from being blown out of a volcano to being squashed under lots of pressure. But which glassy rock is formed as lava cools very quickly when it touches water? Is it pumice? Is it obsidian? Or is it sandstone? And if you've ever played Minecraft, you might have a clue which one this is.
I think the Minecraft even is a big clue there. So what was the question again, Andrew? Can you remind us of the question?
I can do, yes. So rocks form in lots of different ways, from being blown out of a volcano to being squashed under lots of pressure. But which glassy rock is formed as lava cools very quickly when it touches water? Is it A, pumice, B, obsidian, or C, sandstone?
So as lava cools quickly when it touches water. Yeah, I definitely have got that. I think my Minecraft knowledge is helping me with that one. So hopefully our teams at home have had a little think about that one and have got their answers ready. And I think hopefully we can move on to question number 2. So for question 2, in a moment, I hope to share with you one of our very iconic specimens from the Natural History Museum. It's actually a specimen that we call Hope. And if you've ever visited the museum, you might recognize this. It hangs very close to the museum entrance. Now, in a moment, we're going to show you a video of this specimen. This is actually the 3D scan of its bones. And the question is, what type of habitat does this animal live in? So hopefully we've got a video that we can play there. I want you to look closely at some of the features, maybe even have a little think about the position of this animal as well. I think we got a few gremlins in the system today. The video didn't quite work, but I did see the picture. Oh, there we go. We've got the video. So have a close look at those features and have a little think about what type of habitat this animal lives in. So I think that could be a big clue.
Yeah, so people are looking very closely at different features of this animal.
So what type of habitat does this animal live in? Wow, that's its skull. Absolutely incredible.
Wow, yeah, I've got no idea. Could be some kind of dinosaur, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not a natural history expert at all, I'm afraid. That's why we've got you and Matt to help us with this quiz. Okay, so once you think you know what habitat it lives in, I think it's time for question number 3. So, if I was to drop, I've just got my phone. If I was to drop my phone onto the floor, you can observe that it falls down. But what is the name of the force that pulls objects towards the Earth? So there's a particular force that pulls objects towards the Earth. What's its name?
It's not the phone force.
It's not the phone force, or it's not even the force. It's a particular force that pulls phones, or actually any object, but it's particularly annoying, I think, when it happens to your phones, pulls them down towards the ground. So what is the name of that force? So next time you do drop your phone, you can go, "Arr!" and then say whatever that force's name, and you'll know what to blame.
We should probably recommend not trying that experiment at home. Just your phone's probably quite safe where they are. So we'll move on to question number 4. So this is the last question in our general nature round. So at the Natural History Museum, it's not just animals and rocks, we also love plants. So here we have a question about seeds. We have 3 different types of seeds. And seeds, as you might know, usually travel or disperse to a new area so they can grow. But can you match each of these seeds to how it disperses or travels? So again, have a little look at some of the features, some of the things you can see on these seeds. One of them travels on the outside of an animal. One of them travels on the inside of the animal, so probably that one gets eaten. And one of them travels by wind, but which one is which? Can you work that out?
Ooh, I'm not sure. So I think, well, if one of them travels inside an animal, definitely one of those seeds looks more delicious than the others. So I think I might be able to work this out just from observing them really closely and having a good think, and thinking about which one might blow around. But I'm not entirely sure, but I think I might know that one.
Excellent. So hopefully that's given our teams at home lots of time to get their answers noted down. I can see we've got a few more teams joining us on well. We've got Team Maxosaurus. Great to have you here. We've also got the Rocking Rhinos. Great name.
That's a fantastic name, the Rocking Rhinos. Good to see you. Good to see a nice bit of rhino.
Rhinos taking part in the quiz. We've also got Team Milky Way. So it's not just the dinosaurs taking part. We've got Team Milky Way in as well.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, that's brilliant. Yeah, we've got really nice teams. And it's so great that people are joining us for this quiz. Yeah, brilliant team names coming in. Fantastic. Do you think you'll score us? That's my favourite there. Fantastic team name. And yes, we will score you if you get the right answers. Absolutely. So I think people have probably had time to write their questions down. So I think it's time we can go through some of the answers. Now, just remember as well, as we go through the answers, it's 1 point per correct answer.
So we'll rewind back up to question 1 of this round. So this was the question about Minecraft, right?
Yeah. So this was a question about Minecraft. And we said, question number 1, there we go. Here are our answers slide. So we said, which glassy rock is formed as lava cools very quickly when it touches water? Was it A, pumice, B, obsidian, or C, sandstone? And the answer is obsidian. So if you put obsidian for that, you get 1 point. Well done.
Excellent. I can hear lots of our Minecraft fans at home going, yes, on that one. Okay, question number 2. You met one of our famous iconic specimens, and I think we can have another quick peek at that video again as well. Maybe you've even seen this specimen in real life at the museum. We wanted you to look closely at the features of this specimen's body, and can you work out what type of habitat does this animal live in? Well, you may have realized that this is in fact a blue whale, one of the largest animals that's ever lived on this planet. So that means the answer is, of course, the ocean or the sea. So if you wrote the ocean or the sea, that is 1 point for you. Well done.
What if they wrote water?
I think that will be fine. I think we can give them a point for that as well.
Okay, fantastic. So, great specimen there. Question 3, we asked, what is the force that pulls objects towards the Earth? And the answer is gravity. So if you said that gravity is a force that pulls objects towards Earth, it was actually just a force that attracts masses to other masses. You get 1 point for saying gravity.
Fantastic. And question number 4 was the question all about seeds. So we saw 3 different types of seeds and we wanted you to match them to how they travel. So we can reveal that the correct answer was A, was on the outside of an animal. So you might have noticed that's burdock. It's got these little hooks at the end of those spiky bits there that attaches to fur or feathers, and then it will travel on the outside of an animal. B, you probably may have recognized that as a dandelion. That one travels by wind, of course it does. And C, those berries with seeds inside, they get gobbled up and eaten and travel on the inside of the animal. So 1 point if you got all 3 of them right. We're being harsh today. That's only 1 point. So you can now add up your scores for the first round and type them into the chat box. Let us know how you're getting on. We're very excited to see.
Okay, so if people have scored themselves up, I think we should bring back Amakshi and Matt and find out how they've got on in our quiz as well. So welcome back, Matt. Welcome back, Amakshi. And let's start with you first, Amakshi. How did you find that round?
So I got 3 out of 4 right. The last one threw me off a little. I got A and B wrong. I got them the wrong way round, but it's not bad.
3 out of 4 is still a very, very good score. And Matt, how did you get on in that one?
I'm glad I'm actually said that, actually, because I struggled with the last question as well. I thought A looked pretty tasty, but I don't know what that says about my knowledge of seeds. But yeah.
Okay,
We've got some great scores from our teams at home. We've got Team Cav on 3 out of 4, just like our scientists. We've had, I'll try and say this one correctly, Rapharinosaurus on 4 out of 4. We've got 5-year-olds doing very well at home. The Team Wham Bam Spanglosaurus on 4 out of 4. Team Sausage on 4 out of 4 as well. I am loving these team names. So well done so far. We've got some great scores coming in. And don't worry, if you want to get a few more scores, there's going to be plenty of time for points in the next few rounds.
Amazing. So round 2 is all about space. So Amakshi, you're going to stay with us, but we're going to say goodbye to Rosie and Matt just for a few minutes while we deliver our amazing space round. So Amakshi, just before we start this round, could you perhaps just tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do at Imperial as well?
Sure. I'm a PhD student at Imperial, and my research is in space physics. And I study Saturn, which is the 2nd largest planet in our solar system and the 6th away from the sun. And it has an amazing ring system and some incredible moons. And we've got a beautiful picture of the Cassini spacecraft, which was in orbit around Saturn for about 13 years. And I study magnetic fields that were measured by that spacecraft.
Oh, amazing. And so you said Saturn is a really interesting planet. What's your favourite thing about Saturn?
Probably that it has a moon which has water vapor on it, which I think is quite cool.
Cool. Amazing. So it's got quite a few moons, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got the most moons of any planet in our solar system, which is quite cool. Worth knowing.
Brilliant. So if you have a question for Amakshi as well around space or being a scientist, do let us know in the comments and we'll get some to Amakshi at the end of the round. So if you've got any questions from Amakshi, do just type them into the comments and we will try and do our best to get through some of them. But I think I'll hand over to Amakshi for question number 1.
Great. Okay. So question number 1 is, earlier this year, there was a spacecraft called Solar Orbiter that Imperial was also involved with that was launched into space. But the question is, what is Solar Orbiter's destination? And there might be a trick in the name there for you.
Okay, so what we want is for 1 point, what was the Solar Orbiter's destination? And you say there's a bit of a clue in the name there as well.
Yeah, definitely. In Solar Orbiter, think about that if you haven't heard of the spacecraft before.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so give people a few more seconds just to write down some of their answers. And I think it's time to go over to question number 2.
All right, so this is actually quite a hard one. But we know that distances in space are very large. But what is larger? The distance from the Earth to the Moon, or the length of all the roads in Great Britain combined? Which I think is pretty difficult.
Okay, yeah. So I don't actually drive myself. I've never driven a car. I can't drive, in fact. So I think I'm excused for not having a clue on that one.
You've been on the roads, Andrew. You should know this.
I can't. Yes, I definitely have been on the road, so I should know it. But I guess you can take a guess here. You've got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. If anyone has ever driven to the moon and every single road in the UK, they might know this one. But otherwise, people can have a guess. And I think we can move on to question number 3.
Okay, great. Well, so we'll see how well you listened to me when I talked about my research here. But this is a 3-point question. And so for 2 points, we want you to draw a picture of Saturn. So what makes Saturn iconic to you? Draw that. And for the bonus point, we want to know how old Saturn's rings are. So here are the 3 options. A, as old as Saturn itself. B, as old as some dinosaurs. Or C, as old as the pyramids.
Okay, so that's a 3-point question there. 2 for your amazing picture of Saturn, and then 1 for an extra bonus point for knowing or guessing how old Saturn's rings are. So I think we should give people a couple of seconds just to finish their amazing pictures. Hopefully they had their pens with them. And it doesn't have to be a beautifully detailed picture. We're just looking for some particular features, aren't we?
Yeah. As long as I can tell it's Saturn, I think you get points.
Not to be coloured in or anything like that. But if you want to continue drawing afterwards, that's absolutely fine. And now I think we should have a look at question number 4.
Cool. So space has some incredible objects, but one of them has a gravitational field so strong that not even light can escape. So do you know what this object is? Do you know, Andrew?
I think I might do, but I'm not entirely sure. I won't tell anyone. Yeah, I think I might have an idea of this one. I think I have heard of something a bit like this before. So that's the end of the round, but we've actually got a couple of questions for you, actually, from our audiences. So a question from Edison, aged 5, and it says, how are planets made?
Planets, that's a really good question, Edison. But planets are made from the remnants of dying stars. So when really, really large stars explode, that's called a supernova explosion. And the bits of those explosions then come together to form new planets, which is how our planet was probably formed as well.
Amazing. Oh, thank you. And we've got a question from Sean. Is Pluto considered a proper planet?
Oh no, I was dreading this question. Unfortunately, it's now a dwarf planet, so it's up to you to decide whether or not that still counts as a real planet or not. It's a dwarf planet.
Okay, so it's kind of a dwarf planet. And a question from Vicky, how strong is Saturn's gravity? That's a great question, because we were talking about gravity before as well.
Ooh. It's very similar to Earth's, actually. Even though Saturn is much, much bigger, it's much lighter as well. So its gravity isn't too different to what we have on Earth.
Okay. Lisa Explorer, she's a 7-year-old team captain watching this. She wants to know whether those pictures of Saturn that we had before, that big photo of Saturn, was that real or was that kind of animated?
That's a drawn photo. That wasn't a real one, but there are actually some really incredible real photos of Saturn on Google that the Cassini spacecraft took. So if you're interested, you can look that up later.
You said Cassini was the particular spacecraft and mission that you're kind of getting your data from, as your research as well. Fantastic. Well, thank you for answering those questions, actually, and thank you everyone for giving questions to us as well. I'm afraid we haven't got time to go through all of the fantastic questions that you're giving us, but now I think it's time to go through some of the answers. So, question number 1, we asked, what is the solar orbiter's destination? And the answer is?
It's the sun. And you could have guessed that because of solar, which means it's to do with the sun or about the sun. And that's why our solar system is also called the solar system.
Okay, amazing. So if you said the sun, you 1 point. Next, we asked, what is longer? The distance between the Earth to the moon or the distance of all the roads in Great Britain combined? And the answer is?
All the roads in Great Britain combined. I was very surprised to learn this when I first learned it as well. But yeah, all the roads in Great Britain are about 3,900 kilometers, I think. And the distance between the Earth and the moon is closer to about 3,800 kilometers.
So actually, it's really, really close. So if you didn't know the answer,
I think I said that incorrectly. The roads in Great Britain are actually 390,000 kilometers long. I was 2 orders of magnitude out there.
Okay.
And, the distance from the Earth to the moon is actually 380,000 kilometers long. My bad.
All right. So, but it is a very, very long distances. And so the roads are very slightly longer, but it is very, very close.
Very close.
So if you said the roads are longer, you get 1 point. So next we asked for a nice picture of Saturn. And what kind of things are going to get people a point for this picture?
I guess a nice big round planet and maybe some rings around it. And I guess maybe a moon if you've drawn a moon instead of a ring. But the rings I think are a lot more iconic. So the rings. Yeah.
And I think we have a picture of those as well, actually, we can put up there. Nice picture of the planet, potentially. And there we go. So a nice big round planet. We should have some rings as well. As if by magic, they appear. And then we're talking about Saturn's rings appearing. Obviously, that only took a few seconds. But how long did it take for Saturn to get its rings for the bonus point?
So Saturn's rings are actually as old as some of the dinosaurs. So if you got B, then you're correct.
Wow. That was out of 3 points. So you get to see a nice round planet, some of those amazing rings, and lastly, the bonus point is old as the dinosaurs. I thought they were as old as Saturn itself. I just thought Saturn's always had rings. I didn't know for most of its life it's not had any rings. That's amazing.
Yeah. It took a while for it to actually become big enough to start then collecting its little rings around.
Okay, fantastic. And lastly, question number 4. So we asked, what has a gravitational field so strong that not even light can escape? And the answer is?
It's a black hole. So if you said a black hole, you got that right. A fun fact about a black hole, actually, is that if you were unfortunate enough to end up near one, the process of falling into it is called spaghettification, because it kind of literally turns you into spaghetti, which I think is quite a fun word.
Is that how spaghetti is made?
That's not how real spaghetti is made. I think spaghetti came first and spaghettification came second. Okay,
so we discovered spaghetti first, and then we kind of named that process after spaghetti. Okay, that's not like it's not like space spaghetti, which comes from the edges of black holes. Okay, so that was the end of round 4. Round 4. That was the end of question 4. That was round 2, in fact. So I think we should bring back Rosie and Matt, and let's see how they got on. So, Matt, you were hyping up your space knowledge before we started this evening. So how did you get on in that round?
Not too bad. I was really interested by question 2. I would like you to get on the phone to NASA and check the mileage on some of the shuttles going through. That was definitely news to me. But I really liked question 3 as well. And I drew Saturn. I don't know if you can see it there. Oh, no, that way. With the rings. And of course, when in doubt, go dinosaur. And obviously, I've drawn a little dinosaur there.
That's a great drawing of a dinosaur.
Thank you. It's not a space dinosaur. I don't want to worry anyone. There was no such thing as space dinosaurs, and it's not to scale. But really good questions.
So you would get all 3. So actually, you'd give him all 3 points for his picture of Saturn.
Yeah, definitely. I might give you a bonus point for the excellent dinosaur drawing as well.
Excellent. I'll take all the
bonus points.
I mean,
it's nice.
That was an excellent dinosaur.
It was an excellent dinosaur. So we got a few scores coming in. We've got Supersaurus Rex, who've got 5 out of 6. Well done, Supersaurus Rex. Team Cav, great work, Team Cav. They've also got 5 out of 6. Dino Discovery have got 8 out of 8, or 8 points, I should say. And Referinosaurus have got 5 out of 5 points as well.
So I think it's fair to say that so far the total is 10 points because we have those extra bonus questions in there with the drawing Saturn. But some absolutely amazing scores so far.
Yeah, I've just got 10 out of 10 for the Mighty Megalodons. So if you're a Mighty Megalodon, well done.
So I think now it is time for round 3. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Amakshi. We will be catching up with you very soon. But now it's over for our dinosaur round, which is very, very exciting. But before we start with the questions, Matt, can you tell us a little bit more about your role at the Natural History Museum?
Certainly. Well, I'm a curatorial assistant within the Earth Sciences Department at the Natural History Museum. And what that means is I work on a variety of collections-based projects. This can involve acquiring new specimens, digitization, or conservation work, as you can see in those pictures there, preparing fossils, looking at their storage conditions and seeing if we can improve them. And you can see both myself and my colleague Kieran looking at a specimen that we upgraded the storage for, and now we're wondering how we're going to get it back into the collection. So lots of challenges because we obviously have limited space at the museum, but it's a very varied and rewarding job. But of course, my favorite collection is archosaurs and dinosaurs themselves. And I don't know if you know this at home, but dinosaurs were a very unique group of animals in that they could hold their legs directly underneath their bodies, much like mammals. But they did this in their own unique way, in that the shape of the pelvis and the leg bones were in a certain way that is just unique to dinosaurs. It allowed them to spread all over the world, and they were very, very successful. But they are just terrestrial or land-based animals. They weren't adapted for living in oceans or anything like that. Although one special group did evolve the ability to fly, and they did this by fusing some of their finger bones into a short wing and developing feathers. But we might talk about those a little bit later on.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm very excited for our dinosaur round. I'm sure our viewers at home are too. And if you have any questions about dinosaurs, then you can let us know. You can type them into the chat box and we'll try and get some of them to Matt a little bit later on. But first of all, it's time for questions from Matt. So I'll hand over to you, Matt, for question number 1.
Okay, everyone. So this first question is actually going to test whether you were listening to me earlier. I might have given you a clue. Here we have 4 fossil animals, but only 2 of them are dinosaurs. So which 2 of these are dinosaurs? I think some of them might look familiar to you, but some of them are definitely not dinosaurs.
Absolutely. I think at first glance, I would have just said they were all dinosaurs, but that's not the case. Only 2 of those are dinosaurs. And actually, I think if we were listening carefully to you just a few moments ago, Matt, you might have given us a few clues of what to look out for to help us to answer that one. So you can just write down the letters of the ones that you think are dinosaurs at home for your answer. So we've got A, B, C, or D. But for now, we'll move on to question number 2.
Okay, everyone. So this is a straightforward true or false question. Mammoths were alive at the same time as T-Rex. True or false?
So that's a fairly straightforward question in the fact that we just have to write true or false, but which one is it? We're quite familiar with the idea of mammoths. I think that image we've got of the mammoth there is quite familiar. We're quite familiar with what they look like. And also the same with T-Rex. It's probably the dinosaur that is the most popular dinosaur. Lots of people have heard of it before. But did they live at the same time? Now, before we move on to question number 3, just a reminder, I can already see we've got lots of questions coming in about dinosaurs so far. We'll be getting to some of those in just a moment, but if you've still got a question that you haven't asked yet, you can type it away into the chat box and we'll get to that soon. But for question 3, Matt.
Okay, question 3. So here we have 3 names of dinosaurs. Now, these aren't their usual names that we call them. These are their translations of their scientific names. Scientific names often describe a unique feature or characteristic of the animal. So can you match the translation of the scientific name to the dinosaur? So our 3 options are roof lizard, heavy claw, and 3-horn face.
Okay, so this question, I think, sounds trickier than it actually is. All we need to do is match those translations, so roof lizard, heavy claw, or 3-horn face, to either A, B, or C. So we've got those 3 dinosaurs there. Look closely at their features. I think that will help us on that one. I like those translations there. I think they're quite interesting. I can't wait to find out what they actually are.
They're quite descriptive. Have a close look.
Absolutely. So now it's time for our final question, which is question 4.
And my favorite question of all, the last question, number 4. Which one of these is most closely related to dinosaurs? Is it the owl, the alligator, the iguana, or the giraffe?
Okay, so which one of these animals is most closely related to dinosaurs? I think on first look, one of them looks a lot like a dinosaur, like what I would imagine a dinosaur to look like on first glance. But again, you said something earlier that's making me rethink my answer. And I think maybe if our families were listening at home to what you said a little bit earlier on, that might help them on this one as well. Great question. I can't wait to find out what the answer to that is. So we'll give our families a few moments to finish off writing down any of their answers. But now it's over to you at home to get some of your questions answered. So we've got some great questions here, Matt. We've got a question from Rufus, who is age 7, who would love to know if we know what colour dinosaurs were.
That is an excellent question, Rufus. The honest answer is that we don't know, but there is some evidence that gives us a little bit of an idea that they might have been really quite colourful. So some dinosaurs are really well preserved, like Sinosynopteryx, which has coloured banding that was preserved on its tail, so like a gingery reddish colour and white colour. But these are very, very rare. But we can have a think about the fact modern day animals and have a look at how colourful they are and what ways they use colour and apply this to dinosaurs, because they were in themselves just animals, a very successful group of animals, but they would have probably followed some of the same principles that we see in nature today, really.
So not necessarily just the green colour that we often see them drawn in older books anyway. They could have been quite colourful.
Yeah, I would shy away from that. I think we know enough that dinosaurs were very sociable animals and they lived in groups. So think of animals like that, and they might have had, quite bright colours and patterns to recognise individuals within the group. So kind of think along those lines.
Excellent. We've got another question here from Krista, who's age 7. Now, it's continuing the theme of colour, but Krista wants to know what colour was the blood of the dinosaurs. Now, I think that's quite a good one because we only ever see the skeletons, don't we? Do we have any information on this?
That's true. So that is an excellent question. So obviously, blood really doesn't fossilize that much. We do have some examples of soft tissue that has been preserved, but again, this is very, very rare, like collagen and suspected blood vessels and things like that. So it's reasonable to assume that they would have had probably red-coloured blood, because the red comes from the hemoglobin in our blood, and a lot of terrestrial and land-based animals have that sort of coloured blood. So yeah, I would say red. Probably.
Excellent. We have a question from Julia, who's age 9, who asks, where are most dinosaurs found?
The simple answer to that is everywhere. They were a really successful group of animals that lived for a very long time, and you can find them on every continent around the world. They were that successful, from North America to Europe to Asia, Africa, South America, even Australia. So yeah, they really, got around everywhere.
That's incredible. It just shows just how successful they were. And we've got one final question from Gaia, who's age 9, who asked, what was the smallest dinosaur?
Now this is really testing my dinosaur knowledge, Gaia. Some of the smallest dinosaurs I know of are things like Compsognathus or Microraptor, were also very, very small dinosaurs, probably about the size of a chicken or so. But obviously they did range in sizes to very, very large dinosaurs, as we all know. But a majority were, middle to small sizes, because they occupied different levels within food chains. So they weren't just all really, really big animals. But that's a really excellent question.
That is a great question, because I think we often want to know about the biggest, the fiercest dinosaur, but we forget that there was tiny ones as well, about the size of a chicken. Brilliant. So we are now ready to go through our answers for the final round. So I hope you are ready to score at home. Remember, it's 1 point per correct answer. So question 1, we had 4 pictures of fossils from some of the collections that we have, and we wanted to know which 2 of these fossils are dinosaurs.
Good luck, everyone. Well, the answer was A, Mantellosaurus, and D, Stegosaurus. These are dinosaurs. The others are not dinosaurs. So you might remember, you can often tell dinosaurs from other reptiles in that they held their legs and arms directly underneath their bodies. So if they're sprawling out like an alligator or a crocodile or a lizard, then they definitely aren't dinosaurs. And another key feature is that they were land-based animals. So none of them were adapted for a life in the ocean. So they wouldn't have had any fins or flippers like that. So that rules out C, the ichthyosaur. So well done if you got that right. You've made a paleontologist very, very happy.
Absolutely. Well done. So if you said A and D, that is 1 point for you. Well done. So that leads us nicely on to question number 2. Mammoths were alive at the same time as T-Rex. True or false?
The answer is, of course, false. Dinosaurs like T-Rex and Triceratops died out 65 million years ago at the end of the age of dinosaurs, a very long time before there were any mammoths, which evolved around 5 million years ago. So don't believe everything you see on the Flintstones.
Oh, that is some good advice. So there wasn't any overlap really with them at all. There was a really big gap in between. Yeah. Fantastic. So if you said false, that is 1 more point for you. So question number 3. Now, this was the question that sounded a little bit tricky, I think. We wanted you to match the translation of the scientific name to the dinosaur. So we had roof lizard, heavy claw, and 3-horned face. Which one was which?
So I can reveal that roof lizard was, of course, the stegosaur, A. Fun fact, when Marsh actually discovered this dinosaur and was describing it, he thought the plates on the back laid flat across its back, hence the name roof lizard, because he thought it had a roof all along its back, and actually thought originally it was a turtle, but later realized it was actually a dinosaur. We then got 3-horned face, which is, of course, our favorite Triceratops. Tri meaning 3, cera meaning horn, and tops meaning face. So that's pretty much does exactly what it says on the tin. Then we've got heavy claw, which is C, baryonyx, and that's where the name comes from. Bary meaning heavy and onyx meaning claw.
Excellent. So if you said A was roof lizard, B was 3-horned face, and C was heavy claw, that is 1 point for you. I can see why these names weren't so catchy. I think Stegosaurus, Triceratops, they sound a lot better to me anyway. Yeah, we'll continue to call them that. So our final question. So this question, we wanted to know what was the which one of these animals is most closely related to dinosaurs? So we had owl, alligator, iguana, or giraffe.
So I hope you got this one. The answer is the owl. The owl is the most closely related to dinosaurs because birds are descended from dinosaurs. They are very, very closely related. In fact, we often call them avian dinosaurs because they are so similar. So yeah, think about that next time you're looking at a pigeon or cutting into your holiday dinosaur or your turkey, as it's sometimes known, and just be aware that these avian dinosaurs are waiting in the wings to take center stage once more. So yeah. I
really love that. I think that's a really nice question to end on, that dinosaurs are actually still with us today. But that does bring us to the end of round 3. So we would like to know your scores at home. How are you getting on? How have you finished the quiz? Type them in the chat box. We'll see if we can read a few more out. But whilst you do that, let's bring back Andrew and Amachi, because we'd like to see how they're getting on as well. Hello again. So Amachi, we know you know your space stuff, but how did you do with the dinosaurs?
Not too bad. The one with the not scientific names and the pictures threw me off. I got the roof lizard and the heavy claw the wrong way around, because I thought the heavy claw was the stegosaurus because its bones looked heavier. So I was like, oh, maybe it's that one. But it wasn't.
Interesting.
Well done.
Dinosaurs had very, very light bones. And it's another feature that they share in common with the birds.
That makes a lot of sense.
Well done, though. It sounds like you did well on the rest of the questions. And I can see we've got some great scores coming in as well. We've got Laurie Puffer, who got 12. Vicky, who's on 13. We've got Sean Ingle, who's on 11. Sally, who's on 12. Team Indo on 6. Oh, no, age 6, who got 4 out of 4 on that round. Loads of great scores coming in.
That's absolutely fantastic. People have done brilliantly. Team Velociraptor and Matt will be happy because they're probably quite an intelligent dinosaur, and they've got 11 points. And Team Maxosaurus have got maximum points, 14 points for Team Maxosaurus. So that's pretty amazing. Velociraptor versus Bunny, and we don't want to find out how that one ended, but they've got 11 out of 12. And T-Rexperts, I think we mentioned them at the very start. They were T-Rexperts. They have got 13 out of 14. So, yeah.
I think they've earned that name.
Fantastic scores. Absolutely, they've earned that name.
Well, very well done to everyone at home. That does bring us to the end of the quiz. So I'd like to say a big thank you to Matt and Amachi for joining us, sharing your dinosaur and your space knowledge with us today. So thank you so much. We hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
No worries. Bye.
Bye.
And a huge thank you to everyone for joining in at home. We hope you had fun and maybe even learned something new.
Absolutely. Now, unfortunately, that does bring us to the end of the quiz. But thank you so much for quizzing with us today. And we really hope you've had fun. And we'll have a link that's soon going to be posted in the YouTube chat to an evaluation form where you can tell us what you thought of this event. And we would really appreciate your feedback. Otherwise, that's it from us. So thank you everyone who tuned in today, and we hope you have a fantastic evening. Thank you. And from myself and from Rosie, bye.